Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us at the Future Print Leaders Summit. And I am very pleased to have with me Pascal Juery, the CEO of Agfa. Good morning, Pascal.
Good morning, Fraser. Very happy to be here with you today.
Thank you very much for giving us your time. This is an exciting one because it's not very often that we can have a chance to hear the CEO of a major print company coming to an event like this and having a conversation about the vision and where you're going and what you're doing and where you as CEO see the path for our marketplace. So Pascal, thank you very much for joining us. You're going to give us a few slides and just take us through a little bit of the information. Pascal, just before we start, tell us your background. How did you come to be working at Agfa?
Well, Fraser, I'm Pascal Juery. I'm French by birth. I have more than 30 years of experience in the chemical and material industry. I've worked in Asia. I've worked in the US for many years. And I've been living in Belgium for the past 8 years. I've been a management board member at chemical companies such as Solvay and Rhodia before. And I joined Agfa a little bit more than a year ago. Actually, you could call me a COVID-19 CEO. I never had the chance to get out there and meet partners, customers, but I had a chance to learn the world of Zoom and Teams and WebExes and so on. So I come to Agfa to continue the transformation of the group from its traditional businesses to become a true digital force, especially in the inkjet industry, but not only. Agfa is an old lady, you could say. It's a company that is more than 150 years of existence, and that has been in the past 20 years in a constant transformation. And inkjet and printing is one of the main activities of the group. Actually, after a year at Agfa, I'm extremely excited by the possibilities that we have in these markets. And I'm really sure we are going to make a splash in this printing world that runs into our veins.
Yes, and exactly as you said. So quite exciting for you as we come out of COVID, the opportunity to really get into market and to sense what's happening out there. So I'm intrigued to know what your kind of vision is, what your thinking is behind what you've got at Agfa and where you want to take this organization. So to share with us a couple of the slides that give us a little bit of that kind of thinking, and particularly, as you said, around the inkjet world.
Sure. So first, the way we look at our business, and I would go to this slide, the way we look at our business. In inkjet, what we do want to provide to the industry and what we have as a distinctive feature, I guess, is we have not started inkjet from scratch. Agfa was in printing. We went through the technology evolution of printing. We were in screen films. And then we developed an offset business from pre-press treatment, workflow software, digital plates, where we came in offset with the complete solutions. And what we did is we took this know-how, this deep know-how, because we are the leaders in the offset market, and we reapplied it to inkjet. So equipment, but the workflow software and also software to manage the ink and the interface of the ink and the media, and the inks, because Agfa also has roots in chemicals. In fact, the core DNA of Agfa is to apply a very complex coating to a substrate originally. That's our DNA. We started in photography, healthcare, and printing, and we reapplied this very deep expertise in inkjet. So what makes us distinctive is the ability to master each element and to translate it to the right solution to a customer with the right ink, the right software and equipment. That's really what sets us apart.
So you see it more holistically, Pascal. It's more of a holistic approach. Unlike some other businesses in this market, you know, not just machinery focused, but actually the sort of slightly holistic approach to delivering solutions. I think what
our customers want is a solution, the right solution for what they need. And yes, we do have a very holistic approach. And not only holistic, by the way, I sincerely believe, and I don't know if you're interested by that sustainability is also a key component of what we want to bring to this market. We do recognize we live in a world where we have to take care of the planet. There is only one planet, I believe, but today I guess we are consuming a little bit more than 2.5 planets per year, which is not sustainable. So we've got also to play our part in this area. And maybe I can tell you, you know, how we see ourselves going in this direction. So first, we are using very classically, you know, the SDG, the Sustainable Development Guide of the United Nations. And in everything that we develop, in our innovation, we want to make any iteration of our technology better than the one before. So we are paying attention to low energy production. We design an inkjet system with low ink consumption, which, by the way, we are selling inks. So, but the name of the game is, nevertheless, you need to provide your customers, you know, what's good for the planet. And by the way, what's good for the planet is also good for his wallet. We want to provide inks which basically are a chemical formulation that are more and safer, less and less problematic products, lower VOC. We have developed now a new range of water-based inks. So everything that we do in this area is kind of guided by this principle of sustainability. And I think that's a feature that also we want to flag a bit in our approach.
Yeah, I think that's really nice to hear, actually, Pascal. So it sounds to me as if you have a real passion for this particular subject.
I do. And I believe sustainability is the way we should be doing business. It should be embedded in everything that we do. And, you know, I see myself as I'm bearing the baton for the time being, but the idea is to give it to the next generation. And we need to make sure that we do things well for the next generation. So yes, I mean, that's part of our values at Agfa, and that's deep down in our DNA, together with print, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, isn't it? Because often when you see print referred to on the news or you know, in general, people think print, dirty, fingers, ink. You know, it doesn't have a particularly good image. But all the things you said there, you know, you're a big corporation, you're a big business, aren't you? And you are taking this very seriously by the sound of it.
And we have to. That's we need to have responsible inks.
Yeah. So there's also a sense, isn't there, Pascal, that the businesses that are buying the technology, the inks from you, are very much facing onto those big brands like the Nestle's, the P&G's, the Unilevers of this world, because often they're delivering a solution, as you just said, for those companies, and they have all made massive commitments to sustainability, haven't they?
Absolutely, and this is all the brand owners today are in direct contact with the consumer that wants sustainability. So I don't think it's a choice anyway; it's a business proposal. As I said, you know, what's good for the planet should be good for the wallet as well.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. And that's a nice vision. So tell us a little bit more about the vision across applications and the technology, as we said at the beginning about Agfa's commitment to inkjet, and in particular, where, you know, is it decor, is it wide format? Tell us a bit more about that.
Sure. And I will show another slide in order to illustrate it. When we started Inkjet, and that's about not even 20 years ago, okay? It's about, we started in the market 17 years ago. We started by sign and display, which was the obvious segment for us to start. And we wanted to develop for sign and display a full solution, as I said. So printers, of course, wide format printers, but going with the software, inks, the full solution into the market. And as I told you, we leveraged the very deep know-how of the printing market. And actually, you know, it was a success. In a few years, in the segments we've been playing on, we took very nice market share of the market. We probably today have about 10 to 12% of the sign and display segment we are playing in. So it worked. And then the next step was to say, okay, we are playing today in a given segment of the market. Let's reapply our learnings, our experience, our competence, our technology to enlarge our play and to move to new segments. So from the start, while we were developing our sign and display market presence, we kept investing very much, very heavily in R&D to develop new generation of inks, to explore new application and markets. And we have developed today an industrial inkjet business where basically we have targeted first the floorings market, the leather market, and right now we are working very hard on the packaging market. So enlarging our play. So how do we do that in industrial inkjet? Well, we do it in two different ways, actually. We kept our approach of providing complete solutions to the market, from the printer to the ink, and I would say kind of a plug and play approach for our customer, in a way. And as well, we did recognize that for a part of the market, and especially, you know, the very large production runs for floorings or industrial application, here it was not our play or strategy to start building very, very large equipment. So we focused on inks. And today, so we have this two-pronged business approach in industrial, full solutions for part of the market, ink partnership or supply for another part of the market. So that's pretty much what we are doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I guess strategically, that also makes a lot of sense, that you're not trying to offer machinery, customized machinery to everyone in every sector of industrial, because industrial applications for print, the opportunities are huge, but narrowing it down to the clear ones that you can make it work, that makes sense.
Absolutely. You need to be focused.
Yeah.
You cannot engage everywhere with everyone. We want to do things well. Even if we have invested very much in this business, there is so much we can do. So we take it, we have a very disciplined approach. And when we address a market, we want to do it extremely well.
Sure.
A good illustration is leather printing. What we have developed, so leather printing does exist for many, many years, but the solution we are bringing to the market is a bit different. This is a top-end solution. And by the way, that's also probably the characteristic of Agfa. We are a quality-focused company. Mm-hmm. We are not here to do your low-end or even your mid-tier quality. And in leather, it's a perfect illustration. we have quite a unique capability in leather. Actually, the best way to describe, the quality of printing on leather is, of course, the wear resistance, the flexes. I mean, you don't want, the ink to be scratched away or torn away, and so on and so on. And that's a good illustration. We have today 1,000 flexes without cracking, which is really the good sign, that actually we can use our leather printing technology to print very reliably. And that's why, we are targeting here the top end of the market, the luxury market, fashion products, shoes, bags, handbags, and this is an approach in which, again, we come with a complete solution. We had to tailor design equipment to make it work on leather, which has its sets of challenges. And of course, we had to develop specific set of inks in order to be efficient, to adhere to the leather, and to have a very good rendering. At the end of the day, it's about fashion.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting what you say, Pascal. It's this point about not trying to address all markets, keeping focused on delivering a high-end solution for a particular opportunity, and delivering that solution.
And the differentiation coming from the full solution.
Yeah.
From the ability to combine everything that it takes to get to the right results.
Yeah.
And I was really, when coming to Agfa, I was really impressed by that. I was really impressed by the level of the technology behind such solutions. So that's what we do for leather. It's now commercial.
Yep.
We also, by the way, we are offering also a different way to go to market, by which our model is not to sell machines and inks. It's to provide a full service, and the ambition for us is actually to offer square meters of printing.
Okay, so
ultimate solution.
Pascal, so for anyone listening, just for clarity's sake, are you saying that you would offer square meterage of leather printed?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're not saying you bring a machine to, someone can buy the machine or the inks here. You're saying for anyone in production, we would deliver you the final product.
Doesn't mean that we will do it ourselves, by the way.
No. I understand that.
When we are installing
with
our
your
printers,
partners. Yeah.
We are installing our printers,
Yeah, sure.
At the customer, but they pay per square meter.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's,
okay, makes sense.
That's the approach, which is quite an innovative approach.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Another good example is what we do on decor paper. And that's also a new market for which we are very happy with the start of the market. So where we are focusing here is on small to medium runs with our own equipment machines. Why? Because people now want personalization.
Yeah.
In decor.
Yeah.
So it's quite difficult, sometimes to do it on very large machines. You can do that if you have a standard production and you go for it. But more and more, you've got a ton of designs, and that's what we're offering as a capability. So we have developed this equipment, which is a derivation of our existing equipment range, and made it specific for decor paper. And we have developed also water-based inks for this segment. So that's another example of what we do in industrial market. So we do silent display with a full solution. We have focused on specific areas of the industrial printing market, and we have an approach whereby it could be a full solution, which I'm showing here, but it can be as well that we develop only inks for very large run production for which we are not going to build the machine.
Sure.
We prefer to partner with the right players in the supply chain.
Yeah.
But our inks are top of the range.
Yeah.
Here.
And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because if they're already in a supply chain, if a business is already in that market, they know that market, you don't want to have to come in and reinvent the supply chain. You want to just be able to supply them what they need.
Absolutely. But so at the same time, we have a very focused approach in the areas we want to compete in. And also what I would say is, I think digital printing is taking a larger share of the printing market, Fraser. But the name of the game for us is to be what I would call a market maker. What do I mean by that? You need to provide solutions to your customers for which they have no solution today. So you need to compete in a blue ocean. You need to come up with areas, where you create the market. And there was no solution for top-end leather printing, that could satisfy, I would say, the top-end fashion houses. Mm-hmm. That's what we're providing.
Yeah, and I guess as the size of the organization you are, you have the ability, the finance, the resources, the manpower to be able to do that.
Let me tell you that we have over-invested for many, many years in the inkjet market. It comes from the belief, from the guiding belief that, this is the place to be in the printing area, that it's growing, that we have everything that it takes to win. So we happily, so to speak, over-invested. Agfa is a diversified group. Inkjet is still today, I would say, a relatively modest part of the overall business. But we have thrown to this inkjet business a lot of R&D resources. We have a full chemical R&D center in Belgium. 70% of it is working for digital printing and chemicals. And Inkjet does receive a disproportionate amount of resources. So yes, we have invested in this business. We are investing in this business. We are committed to the business. And this is why today we can indeed launch some innovations, a lot of innovative products in this market. And we are successful. And we believe that we have the right competencies in order to succeed, but we are engaging with a lot of discipline in given segments.
And interesting on that, it sounds to me as though you, as an organization, are more outward looking than you are inward looking, if that makes sense, because you're saying, look, the markets going forward are often going to be about partnerships, are often going to be about relationships, are often going to be about leveraging other people's knowledge to bring to your knowledge. Is that how you see it?
Fraser, if I do the exercise, draw a square on a paper and try to shade the part that you believe you know in the world, okay? Well, if I do that myself, I would probably shade, I don't know, a very, very tiny part
of course.
On this square. So, of course, I know that I don't know. So I need to leverage partnerships. Yeah, absolutely. It's about being also client-driven. It's also that. They know what they want, okay? And if we have the ability to be able to translate it into a solution that we can bring, that works. Sure. The partnership, yes. Of course, you need to be external driven. At the same time, you need to know what you're good at.
Yeah.
And what you can provide efficiently. And don't engage when you cannot win, basically.
It's interesting talking to you, Pascal, because you're clearly showing a lot of passion for the business and the way forward. Often you hear people talk about CEOs being disconnected from the people, the products, the production. It sounds like you haven't been there long, but you've kind of got it. But what do you sense the Agfa's why is? Not the what you do, not that we make print technology or whatever, but the why. What is it about Agfa that is important in the why, the sort of why we do what we do? This is the reason we do it.
Well, I think there is a passion in Agfa, and we have a passionate team at Agfa, and they believe in what they do. I guess because they're out there to serve. I think there is customer centricity in this company.
Okay.
And I sensed it, the way I stepped in. And it's truly customer first. Now, I have more than 30 years experience in chemical industry. Sure. I've seen a lot of organization, but I'm amazed really by the passion to serve our customers at Agfa. So it's a first, and it's very basic, I know it's very basic, but I never sensed it before to this degree. I think, we understand at Agfa that the world is moving fast. The world is moving fast, that there are changing needs out there from our customers. And especially in the field of inkjet, it's a field where you can come up with innovation that is in constant movement. In a way, and we are engineers. I'm chemists, so it's exciting to provide to our customers, more productivity, more automation, more versatility, to help them compete in their market. It's interesting to provide our customers new ways of doing things, to make sure they can in turn serve their customers. I was telling you, about the personalization that people need to have now in some industrial segments. They can do it thanks to Inkjet. And go ahead.
I was just going to ask the question. It's interesting what you say, and obviously we're coming through a crisis, a COVID crisis, and coming out the other side. And you've talked about some of the key things. You mentioned sustainability, you mentioned automation. There are certainly some key trends, aren't there, that whether COVID or not have made things change more quickly and sped some of these things up. One of the areas that obviously seems to be interesting is sort of the packaging market. What are you doing in that area? You mentioned it briefly earlier on. What's the thinking behind that sector?
Okay, no, that's you're right. And first on COVID, let me tell you that COVID, there will be an after COVID. You cannot be defined by COVID. And what we kept doing in the company during these COVID times is get busy preparing our next set of products. We were discussing, we just launched a new wide format printer, the Beast, the extreme productivity, extreme quality printer. That was developed during COVID.
Yeah.
It was developed during COVID. So nothing stopped during.
Yeah, Pascal, that's a really important thing, because there have been some businesses who are furloughed. There have been some businesses that have gone on half time or part time. So you've been active through the time. You've used the opportunity to do more thinking. You've developed product. There's software. There's lots of things, aren't there, that come out of that.
But we also did address our cost base as well, by the way, like everyone else. But yes, I mean, the way to win in a market is never to cut costs. The way to win in the market is to innovate and to provide value to your customers. And yes, we didn't stop during COVID developing. That's absolutely true. So coming to your point on packaging, I think packaging is the next big thing for us. We are busy right now developing more on the inks side, water-based ink in packaging. We are very encouraged by where we are right now, although we are not yet fully there yet. We are very confident we are gonna move forward in packaging, and you know, in the wide format printer that we launched for silent display, we can also do corrugated packaging in it.
Okay. Interesting.
So you're crossing boundaries a bit, you know, and what we have now is versatile products where you can print on different medias, you know, depending on the job you have, and that's also huge value for our customer base, I guess. So packaging, yes, is an area of investment for us, specific investment first in inks. We are looking at it also from an equipment side. We are not, it's too soon to say where we're going to end up. And again, you know, the world is large, and that could be also an external solution. Yep. But packaging for me is the next big thing. Yes, absolutely. Yep. After industrial, decor, paper, leather, packaging is really the area where we want to be.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because, as you said yourself, you know, that kind of transfer from wide format to packaging to corrugated, you know, this clearly manufacturers are doing this, looking at this, thinking about the market opportunity is significant, as you said. COVID has reinforced the point of packaging, and you know, everyone's buying things through Amazon and e-commerce, so everything's packed, you know, in corrugated. So there's lots of factors. So as you said, that, you know, these crises have changed some things, adapted some things, evolved some things. So lots of things going on that impact on our world. So that's quite interesting.
Fraser, I think someone said crisis is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it is. And by the way, if you invite me next year, you know, I might have good news on packaging as well.
Of course, Pascal. Of course.
It's a teaser for next year.
Yes, that'd be good. Listen. We're just coming to the end of our 30 minutes. Would you believe? That's been really insightful, and I'm really glad we've had this conversation, because you've given us, you know, a little bit more than we would normally get from any major manufacturer. You've given us a little teaser of what might come, the thinking going forward. Also, a little bit of what I liked about this conversation is that you come from, you know, you're fairly recent to Agfa, so you have a bit of vision. You can see you've been looking at what's going inside. You've also got your thoughts, so that's nice. There's lots of interesting stuff there, Pascal. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.